Legionnaires of the Lariat, welcome back. We are here to review AEW's Full Gear. This was a show. I am your host, Mr. Showtime, Michael Wright. With me, as always, we have the one, the only, Hound. And my tag team partner, we have Mr. stevezapf. How's it going, fellas?
Hello, gentlemen. It is a pleasure to see you again.
It feels like we were just talking.
Maybe a little bit.
Just like that.
There's a lot of shows to record this week.
There's a lot of shows to record this week. There's a lot of shows to record next week as well. Hound, I absolutely love that your voice just gets more and more Barry White. Like I'm or like Isaac Hayes. Like I'm just waiting. Hello, children.
Hello, children.
Children.
At some point, we'll get me to sing, and I'll be. I don't know where a good Barry White song is, but I'll do it at some point.
Start brushing up. I'm gonna put you on the spot one of these times, and you're never gonna know when it's gonna happen. Go sing
for the
now.
1 year anniversary.
Right now, go. So we have the review of Full Gear. A lot of things happened. An interesting ending to this card that just kind of like kept going.
A lot
got some
of
thoughts
stuff
on those. This card is way too long. WWE and AEW need to get together and swap some matches. Full Gear, give 2 to Survivor Series, and I'm in good shape. There's some things here that I liked, some things I didn't like. I got some. I have an axe to grind with Mr. Ospreay for a certain spot, but that's all.
Probably the same spot that I have an axe to grind with.
Come on now, like you dead, man, you dead. But let's start out with the highlight of the night. The match of the night started on the pre-show. Friend of the show, friend of I Still Call the Lariat, the one, the only, Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. Boom. Some big old chocolate chunks, chocolate chip cookies on his tights, which was funny.
Loved it.
Rumor has it he broke his foot at some point in time, either during this match or before it. I heard it was actually before the match. He says that it was during the flying lariat spot. I had actually heard that he had done it beforehand, and he's man enough to go strength beyond strength and go through and wrestle this match. I actually saw a really funny side-by-side meme of CM Punk talking about how he broke his foot. He's got to relinquish the title. He's going to get surgery and be out for a month. And then it says AJ broke his foot, and he still brought the boom. Boom.
I'd like to believe that AJ broke his foot by breaking his foot off in QT Marshall's ass, but that's just because he's a friend of the show. And from a bunch of former wrestlers to somebody who dusted off the tights and got back out there, AJ, fantastic job, my friend. Thank you for the entertainment.
And talk about the dude being over. AJ was over. 10,000 people, man, just booming.
Well, Steve, I don't know if you know this. That took place in New Jersey. AJ has 10,000 friends that he filled that whole stadium himself. On the independent scene, he used to travel with an entourage that went to every one of his shows.
That is true.
That's a real thing, and they were all there for Full Gear. I enjoyed this match. It was a little slow, of course. And not to throw any shade at AJ. I don't think I had been able to go anywhere close to as fast. It was a little, particularly if he had a broken foot the whole time. But he had the right amount of spots. It was a real wrestling match. It went through the paces. It was fun. Everyone was on the edge of their seats. I don't know how AJ could have done better. QT Marshall, a champ. He went out there, put AJ over in a big way. That diving spot where he takes out his whole security detail was fantastic. AJ just turns at the right moment to just be missed. It was great. I bought for this match. This match was great. I loved it.
I've
Really
heard
was.
a lot of people say that this was their favorite match of the night. Like it was a fun match. It didn't do anything super silly. I actually like the commentary team kind of putting this over as this isn't a guy from a different sport. This isn't just a random celebrity getting in the ring. He's still, I mean, let's face it, AJ is still a wrestler. He's still a worker. He whether he's been in the ring or not recently, he's still a wrestler. Like this is just a guy who's dusting off his boots.
Yeah, he was a huge staple in the New Jersey independent scene. Like, and I like a lot of people. I know that we're all spoiled, like coming up in the New Jersey scene a little bit as well. But I always say that there's like 3 hotbeds of wrestling, the top 3 wrestling hotbeds, and it's Calgary, it's Minnesota, and then it's New Jersey. Like there is just so much wrestling history and lineage in this place. Some of the top stars of all times all live here, were born here. And AJ, though I think he originally is from Florida. He was in this and I could be wrong there. I'm not sure.
You're flip-flop. He lives in Florida now. He's originally from New Jersey.
Is that why he was billed from Florida?
From Boca Raton, yes.
Yeah,
because that is actually where he lives.
I was confused because I was like, you're in New Jersey. You would think you'd be built from New Jersey. You missed that one, AJ, but that's okay. I won't hold it against you. He was a huge staple in a lot of those indie feds. He wrestled in a lot of gymnasiums and VFWs, while we were out there. And was always over. He, like Power Child Eric Justice, was very much over. That was also one of Big Boom AJ's former names, Tundra. So love
Tundra,
this.
the power child of the Frozen North.
Yep, and I hear that this might lead to him working with them a bit more. Like I know that he came on here onto the show and said that this was supposed to be his last match. I don't know. Once the bug bites you again, you get right back out there.
And if they'll keep using him, like good for him.
Yeah, even as like correspondent, just somebody, like even if he doesn't get back in the ring ever again, but having a working relationship with AEW is a huge opportunity for AJ. Wish you all the best, AJ. Fantastic work. Really no critiques here, except for you didn't be built from New Jersey, but you're all right in our books. Thank you for putting on a fantastic show. Anything else for this one, guys?
No, he brought the boom.
Brought the boom.
We need to say it one more time for him.
We did predict that he would win pretty much every single match in this on this card, and
at one point or another, yes, because he should have. You know why he didn't? Because he broke his foot.
You're right. That was the. But he still did his match. He made sure
he did his match.
Delivered there.
Even strength beyond strength has its limits, man.
No, it doesn't. It's cheating as well.
I love it so much.
It's such an inside joke, and like no one really knows. Like if you weren't there, you don't know. When he had his superhero gimmick, he used to do strength beyond strength. It was his version of hulking up, get in the ring, bring his. I can't keep my arms in this box, but like he'd go like this, and I used to make jokes to Steven that was cheating, and that he should be disqualified because none of us could do that stuff. But all in all, the jokes aside, AJ, fantastic job. You're number one in our books. I won't lie. This was my favorite match of the night because it was probably one of the only ones I really cared about. And you made that happen there, AJ. So we appreciate you. The next match in this one was the 4-way tag match. You had Private Party versus Outrunners, the Kings of the Black Throne. And the Acclaimed. We all picked this correctly. Private Party did their thing. We all had AJ winning. Of course we did, because we're not picking against AJ. When you single-handedly bring 10,000 people into an arena, of course you're going to go over. The Private Party goes over here. This made sense. We really recapped in our predictions that we thought that this is going to be the match where they kind of solidify themselves a little bit, get over on a couple of like quasi tag teams in this. The Acclaim's breaking up. The Outrunners are there to do a job a lot of the time, and the Black Throne cannot get a push whatever they do. Steven, what do you love about this match?
Jamokin.
There was a
So
lot of
much
Jamokin.
Jamokin. You know what, man? This match is exactly what we said this match was going to be, though.
Yep.
Exactly. Like, it was everything that we said was going to happen in this match happened almost to a T. Like, if you listen to the preview episode, it's exactly what we said it was going to be. It was Jamokin. It was the finisher spot fest. There was the teasing of the Acclaim breaking up. Private Party ends up retaining. It's two guys or all four started off. Then there was two guys. Then no one really knows who the actual legal man is. There was a lot going on here.
There was a lot going on,
and yet nothing going on.
Hound, where what are you thinking?
It did its job. I mean, like I said, we're gonna have all of the moments. You're gonna have stuff leading into 1,000,000,001 finishers, into this, into that, and then somebody laying on the outside for too long. If it hit the notes it needed to hit for what it was. It was formulaic to a point. I'm glad that I really wish that, somebody in AEW had listened to us a little bit and given the Kings of the Black Throne these titles, but we all kind of knew that wasn't happening right now. But yeah, I mean, it did what I'll say this when it's because it was so on the nose of everything we said, I was almost unimpressed. Mm-hmm. Kind of thing, if that makes sense. So it's, to me, I'll say, like, it was a match. It did its thing.
Well, when you have 6 guys just randomly laying around the outside while 2 people wrestle, I could see that sentiment as well. I'm with a lot of that stuff. I have a question for you, fellas. The tag team partners pinning themselves spot. I know a lot of people don't like that. I pop every time because I think it's smart. You win the titles. Pin each other. They let you be the 2 legal guys. What are your thoughts on that? If a tag team partner pins his partner, do they win the tag team titles?
Yes. Yeah. Or at least whoever wins the tag team titles, and they would have to figure out their partner who would be their partner. Obviously, right? Like, right? Like, that's...
I just had the dumbest picture in my head of the 2 of you as a tag team having that happen, and Mike pinning you and being like, yeah, we're going to keep it. And Mike being like, you're not my partner anymore. And just picking somebody else and being like, screw you, Steve.
Yeah, it would be you. Jerk. He'd have picked you.
How can I team with you, Steven, when you lost?
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
It's so funny you say that, Hound, because I had the same image of it when I was thinking about this. Because I was thinking about asking you guys this question earlier. Me and Steve, Steve, not like, it's not Steve's style to lay down or to pin me if I laid down, to win the titles that way. But I could really see me and Steve being in the center of the ring and him be like, not this, and go to tag out, and I schoolboy him, just out of nowhere. Take him down, and then and then giving Hound the titles.
Yeah, it would be the house show. That's what you call yourselves. Showtime's the show. Hound is the house.
That's good. I like it. Man, missed opportunities. Though Hound and I never wrestled on the same show. I think by the time I started, Hound was no longer in it, or was
he had his issues.
Yeah,
although we had all had our issues by that point.
Yeah, I had been EWA'd long enough.
Yeah, what? I didn't have a long relationship with them. I feel like I didn't have that much heat with them.
The Twilight Zone of pro wrestling.
It was Rover Farms, having a good time. But those are stories for another time. Maybe that's an episode where we'll just talk about our all our old ring stories about how Mickey James taught me to go like this.
That's the way you.
Or-
That's the
or,
way you manage. You just slap the mat.
Yeah, though I think that's the first time I was able to say that and not call her Alexis Lurie.
That's true.
The next match in this was MJF versus Roderick Strong. Steven and I picked MJF. Hound nobly choosing Roderick Strong on this one. I wanted to see him win this one. This match really confused me with Roderick Strong. I know I haven't really been watching AEW as religiously as you two fellas have been, but isn't Roderick Strong part of the Don Callis family now?
No.
He's not. He's
no, he never switched over. They're all part of the Undisputed Kingdom. That's their name.
Okay.
That's
I
it.
think I was moving some things around, and I was like, why is he a face again? I remember him being a very big heel, and now he's a face because AEW likes to do swerves. Hound, what'd you think of this match to start?
It was definitely a good match. I mean, it's MJF and Roderick Strong. You're not going to get a bad match out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I go back to, like I had said earlier, where I think, like, you know, it's a big deal for MJF to lose. And I thought Adam Cole costing him that would make the eventual MJF Adam Cole thing be bigger. Not so much that it would have done it for Roddy, but it would have made that whole thing have a bit more impact, if you will. So it is what it is. I still stand by that. I think it should have gone down the way I selected it. But I mean, yeah, again, I will oftentimes take the things that you guys are not going to, just so that way we can have what if the thing we're not expecting does happen. And, you know, I catch the lightning in the bottle and be like, ha.
Yeah, the way I see it is I'm always right. Steven's a coward, and you're bold enough to make the hard predictions, Hound. Yeah, I'm with you. I actually would love to see Roderick Strong win this. If he would have won, the thing I liked about this match is I came in thinking that MJF, there was zero chance that he would lose this. And while watching this match, I think Roderick Strong forced me to believe that he might be able to win. And that's the thing, right? Like that's what you do in wrestling. That's the thing. And I thought Roderick Strong was fantastic in this. I love Roderick Strong. He is like my quintessential style. He's great. I wish he was more over. And so like I would have liked to see him go over on this and then push into. I hope he does a little bit more because I always feel like he's a bit of a background character right now. I get it when you have 18 matches a show, not everyone could be the main protagonist. But I would like to see a little bit more out of him. But I really enjoyed this match. Steven?
This match was probably the one I was most excited for, other than obviously AJ and QT. But as far as the main card goes, the main show, this was probably what I was most excited for because we were going to get a wrestling match, like a true to form wrestling match. And that's what this was. Like, you can say it was a grudge match, but it was a high impact wrestling grudge match. They hit wrestling moves. They did wrestling things. They told a wrestling story. I know it didn't come off correctly, but MJF going to hit that power bomb with Roddy's hand stuck in his own tights so that, like, because he's been working the hand the whole time. That was a really cool move. I don't care that didn't happen right. Like, it just didn't. Sometimes it doesn't, but like, that was a cool attempt. I'm okay. Like, not only would the move have been cool, but like, you know me, Showtime Hound, you know me. I like it when sometimes they go for stuff that's a hair different. I've never seen that move specifically, and I've never seen it like stuck in the tights like that for the behind the back stuff. So that was really cool. I also like Roderick Strong doing, instead of doing like the tope suicida or just a baseball slide, he does that drop kick through the middle and the bottom rope as like kind of his dive, and I really dig that. Like that's a sweet little spot. I mean, MJF won this with the salt of the earth armbar, while he was like yanking the fingers too. Again, telling a story, working a body part. It was everything I thought I would like about this, I did like, and there wasn't much for me not to like about it. Also, Showtime. I don't know if you saw this, but as a dude who uses this move, Roddy had one of the nicest clover leaves I've seen in a really long time. Like, and like maybe the nicest one I've seen since Dean Malenko.
Yeah, and he elevates it a little bit, which was kind of cool. Which was my style back then. I did it like the tamer, which just makes more sense. Getting that knee on that, he didn't elevate it nearly as much as I did back in the day, but the cloverleaf, it's such an underutilized move. I think there's a few of them, and that one, like, I've never really seen too many people use it to its full degree, and because it's just as, I mean, it's cooler than a crab. It's less overdone than the figure four. It's like kind of like it's right there with the sharpshooter. The sharpshooter definitely has. I like the sharpshooter better. It is a better move. I won't lie. The step through and twist is perfect, and used by two of the most iconic wrestlers of all times. Cloverleaf gets no love. Missing out, guys. Missing out. But this was a great match. I enjoyed it. Probably outside of the on the main card, probably the best match on the card. There's other ones that can compete with it, but this was really good. Next match, another one that I was really impressed with the challenger was Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander for the TBS title. Moné, of course, is the champion. She is the CEO.
CEO.
We all had Moné winning this one. A lot of parity in this card. Steven, what did you think overall about this match?
I think this might have been Mercedes' best match since she's coming to AEW.
By far.
Like, and if it's not, it's definitely her best match since her match with Stephanie Vaquer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those are her two best matches, and I'm not bashing her stuff with Willow. Hound, don't get mad.
Careful, he's not Takeshita.
I really like this match. Mercedes in the beginning looked a little off though. I mean during the entrance, like she looked like just facial expression wise and stuff like that. She just looked a little off for me. And I don't know what it was. But there was a moment, a couple moments in there right in the beginning before they even started the match that she almost looked disinterested, but not like it was meant to be disinterested. Again, I thought Statlander shows a nice amount of power during this match. I like the idea of the back and forth. I will say this: Mercedes needs to stop hitting the Meteora so much. It's become her V trigger. She just does it to do it now, and I love that Statlander kicked out of that ugly ass finisher that Mercedes does. And the funny thing is as ugly as it usually is, this is the best I've seen it hit. I put a lot of that on Chris Statlander. I think this match was good. Like I said, I think this is the best Mercedes that we've seen. So
she really had to defend the title.
Yeah.
In this match. I think that this was a really good spot. That's why I kind of started with, I was really impressed with Chris Statlander. She came out, she brought it. Not to give too much credit, because Moné definitely carried her own, was really strong. Hound, do you have any opinions over there?
You guys really hit the major touch points. The thing that I guess stands out to me, and I'll agree, outside of the Vaquer match, this is, I think, Moné's best work. And I like that I believe Statlander's stock has only risen because of this performance.
Agreed. Like, she did enough, like, without winning, to not look weak and to really be taken serious as a competitor. I think you're right.
I will say this real quick. I will say this. I said this to Hound during our episode, during our show. I would like Statlander to do a different finisher. I'd like her to not use the tombstone. If nothing else, she's a powerhouse wrestler, and she's built as such. But she's also had 2 rebuilt knees. I think I think between that and like the 450, like those might be specifically the tombstone, because she hits an actual jumping tombstone. I just, there's too many pile drivers on AEW cards in general.
So many.
I think that I think that it needs to be pulled from her repertoire at this point, and she needs a different finish.
Mm-hmm. The next match, we had the surprise of the night. All three of us got it wrong. Jay White versus Hangman Page. We have Jay White going over in this contest. We were all very convinced that Hangman was going to win this, given that Jay White went over last time. Went over cleanly in this one. So, Hound, what were your initial reactions here?
I was confused. And maybe I'm confused because it's one of those where like 2 + 2 = 4.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, 2 + 2 became statistics, because in statistics, 2 + 2 is not 4. 2 + 2 is 4, 99.9% repeating probability. But it's not even real. It's theoretical. So it all the feud math, all the wrestling math didn't add up there. So really, what was the point of it then? Because at this point, you cannot say Hangman Page is on the same level as Jay White. You can't.
Yeah.
And if you have them continue this, if Page wins, then it means nothing still. Like, the two of them kind of need to go their own separate ways right now. And any potentiality for Hangman to be in the main event picture is gone. Like, if you have him jump the queue, especially in front of Jay White at this point, then all of it was for nothing. Now, unless there is some crazy surprise booking thing that we don't see coming, which I have no faith that is actually going to happen, it was pointless, because you've ended the feud with two guys who have incredible chemistry. Doesn't mean they won't come back together, but I mean, everything was there with Jay White, with them saying out of the 6 times they faced, Jay White has won 5 of the last 6, and all this. It was all set up for that. So to me, it was more, I was just confused. The match itself was great. I mean, it was what we thought it was going to be, but I was like, what the hell is going on here?
I try not to be hypocritical. If I said that if I said it earlier around, in the previews for War Games around Damian Priest always having Gunther's number, Jay White always having Hangman's number is fun. It's a fun narrative. I think this does a good job at getting Jay White as a serious contender across the board. But otherwise, I really do agree with you, Hound. Steven, what were your initial thoughts here?
I have to echo you guys a little bit. My thing is, even with this match being the way it is, and Jay White not being a very clear-cut babyface, there's a point where Switchblade hits Hangman with something on the outside, and he says he refuses to take the count out. Why not at this point? Like, this isn't one of those things where like you're trying to get a clean win because you need to eliminate him out of your life. You've gone 4 for 5 already. You know, like you eliminated him already. A count out win is still another win. Like you're 5 for 6 or whatever it is, or 6 for 7. You don't need it doesn't matter if you win overly clean or not. So that was a little confusing. The one critique I have of the match overall, other than that, is going to be that they both worked the same body part, and I never liked the same body part on both guys being worked. So like they both went after the knee the whole time. It gets a little redundant after a while, and then everyone starts just having old man walk. And then there's, shenanigans at the end of this match with Hangman hitting Jay White and punching Christopher Daniels, and I agree with you guys. I don't understand.
Shenanigans. Jay White was just a really big heel, wasn't he? Like, not so long ago. Not here or there. Next match was the most recently deceased Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Steven, you reordered this, right? Is this the right order?
Yeah, this is the right order.
So we have Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay. all three of us saw this going down this way. This made a lot of sense with the storylines, of course. I will say I'm just going to jump to the gun. Jumping pile drive from the onto the steps. You dead, man. You can't keep fighting. You're dead. You could have easily just left him out there, let the count out happen, and then take the win. You did that. There's no title on the line. You don't have to worry about that. Like, you put him down for the count. Instead, they come back in. He throws a ineffective hidden blade, and the rest is history. Steven, what were your kind of reactions here?
All right, I'm going to try to hit the positives here. There are a few positives here, so I'm going to try to hit them real quick. I love Fletcher's new presentation. Both his entrance, his look, just everything about it. I love the presentation of it. Again, Hound and I said this in our AEW episode. He gives very, very Randy Orton vibes, and I don't mean that as like he's copying him. I mean like how Hound said it. Like, if you were to build a wrestler from the ground up in a lab, you might get Randy Orton or you might get Kyle Fletcher at this point. Like, he's that good. The match starts hot. You feel the grudge in this. Kyle goes after the neck, which is what he should be doing. He's really vicious during this. And for the most part, they tell a very good story during this match. Until we hit 3 pile drivers in this match alone. 3. Yeah. There are 3 pile drivers in this match alone. I just want to point that out because I have a point to make later after this. I agree
if these guys don't have Nexus Steel, they do now.
Because there's a steel rod in their back.
Exactly.
I agree with everything you said, Showtime. I think that if they had just let Ospreay sit on the outside, selling the neck and selling the paralyzed arm, and let the count out go, I think it actually almost means more than the pinfall does at this point. Or just drag them in and throw them in and pin them right afterwards. Like those two, one of those two things needs to happen. But I actually think that for me, I feel like the count out would have meant more in this case. Like, this isn't a pinfall. You knocked him out.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a vicious fight. It's supposed to be a blood feud. I think that this had a lot of potential. Hound, anything you have to add here, bud?
You guys are hitting all the notes. I mean, we're all going to be kind of just echoing each other at this point. But the only thing that I think would have given this the true, like, this is Fletcher's coming out party is he hit that jumping pile driver, the crowd, like the audible gasp. And then people from the back came and stopped the match. And it was like, that's it. Like, we're pulling Ospreay out of this. No, we're getting to a point where this is too dangerous right now. And at least on that night, Kyle Fletcher was unbeatable. And I think that would do more for his character than anything else that happened.
There it is. I think we just escalated to where you just got to, Hound. And that what you just said is the perfect ending to this.
That's where I was hoping it would end. Like, it was like, oh, good, this match is over. He dead. Next match was the TNT champion Jack Perry taking on Daniel Garcia, and what I thought was quite predictable. But Hound had the gumption to pick Jungle Boy. But the Steven, you and I had Daniel Garcia. This match was good. I don't mind it. I didn't mind that Jack Perry lost. I know Hound had a little bit of a gripe with it earlier. We saw some good wrestling. Hound, what'd you think about this match? Why don't you start us off?
So, anytime you get Daniel Garcia in the ring, you're gonna get a good match. The guy is fantastic. He's just a phenomenal worker. He really is. And Jack Perry has come a long way. Like, I was super not on Team Jack Perry, even when it was a boy and his dinosaur, where I was like, okay, it's a cool gimmick. I'm over it right now. I just love the entrance. Whoa, 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 oh. That whole thing, I would get into that. But I didn't care that he was Luke Perry's kid. And, like, he's kind of got a face I want to punch. Like, he looks like a lot of people I dragged out of nightclubs when I was a bouncer. So, but for me, the whole thing was, I mean, yes, of course, if a title was going to change hands, it was going to be this one. And to me, it did no favors to anything, because unless you are at this point saying the Elite does not exist, and the only things that do exist are the Hurt Syndicate and the Mox World Death Riders.
Mox World Death Riders.
So, and they're going to have a new name every week at this point.
they absolutely are.
But the match itself, the in-ring stuff was fine. They did what the two of them were going to do together. Nothing particularly stood out to me. And I see where you guys were. And obviously you were correct in the pick, both of you. But I think you guys also saw where I was going with it, where it just kind of didn't make sense. And I think ultimately right now, and again, I have no faith that a long-running story is coming that I can sink my teeth into. I think it's a miss.
I couldn't agree more. I know we talked about it earlier about Round taking another peg out of the Elite. That was the one that I disagree with, because like the Elite is all in hiding right now, and Jack Perry, like, I don't understand why Jack Perry isn't, like everybody else kind of is, and he's still out there fighting the good fight. Daniel Garcia, MJF put Daniel Garcia over last time around. He was primed. I know MJF won, but he got him over in a big way. I think that this is kind of their way to kind of solidify that and see what they really have in him. So it's exciting to say. Steven, any thoughts here?
I was hoping we were going to see a little bit more wrestling right in the beginning. I have it written here. I'd like to start seeing someone start using aggressive wrestling to start the match off with a grudge. Sometimes, like, every time someone wants to start off hot, they just start off with punch kick, and I'm kind of over it. Like, it would be a nice breakup from the monotony of what, and this is both promotion. This is both AEW and WWE. I'm not just singling AEW out on this one. This is across the board. This is what everyone thinks that they need to start off with. Like, every time someone wants to start off hot, it's either a jump start or they start off with a hockey fight. And it, like, I would love to see two guys, especially two guys who are about the same size, go in there and start a match off with a lockup that's so aggressive that, like, they're not letting go because they refuse to let the other guy have the advantage. Guys like this, Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry, are the guys that should be wrestling each other, though, especially for this TNT title. I think this is a good way to make this a true television championship. They have good chemistry. To go along with this match, though, or I'll give it one more flower. I think Daniel Garcia actually gives me Dean Malenko vibes. I know this is the second Dean Malenko shout out that I'm giving.
We love you, Dean.
We love you, Dino. But Daniel Garcia gives me that he's not the biggest dude in the world, but he'll hit you with his entire body and then out wrestle you too. And he kind of, if that's the way they keep building it, I could see Daniel Garcia being something really good. Now then, with that said, over the course of this show, up until this point, we have seen no less than 6 pile drivers, and not a single one of them was used as an actual finish.
Well, it's not that devastating of a move, Steve. Being dropped.
No, you're only dropping someone's entire body weight on their head, neck, and shoulder area.
Yeah.
It's a new arm drag.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, what Garcia hit Jungle Boy with 2 of them. Yes, I still call him Jungle Boy, but he hit 2 of them. And after the second one, how is Jack Perry so awake that, like, he's like screaming in agony for, like, during that finish? That doesn't make sense to me. It should have been like I could see him tapping out quickly, but at the same time, it should have been a very quick tap out.
Agreed. Next match was Takeshita, late addition to the card, Takeshita versus Ricochet. I think they got this wrong, but we all got it right. We all had Takeshita keeping the international title. Not that I want to take this title off of him. I just think Ricochet losing again is just not a good look. He needs a big win over somebody good.
Oh, this match. So there's a lot to load with this match where I'm at. One, I think the crowd is fatigued at this point, because I was fatigued at this point just watching it, and we're what is this? 2, 4, 6. This is 7 of 9 on the main card, which means that this is, I think, match like 13 realistically or something like that, or 10 already. And then we're already 4 hours, and that's what it is. We're 4 hours and 10 matches into this card if you start from the beginning for the pre-show and everything.
Sure.
That's a lot. This crowd was fatigued. They were hot during Big Boom AJ, and I think that was the hottest they were. And then, like, if you just look, some of these matches, unfortunately, they suffer because the crowd is just done.
Mm-hmm.
They're burnt out. This match wasn't bad. It just there's things I don't like about what of how Ricochet does things. It might just be his use of fundamentals or something, but it almost looks like his passion for his in-ring work is waning. And I know, Hound, you've mentioned that it might just be an age thing. Maybe he's getting too old to show it that way. I mean, it might be, or it might just be like, again, even the stuff with him getting into arguments with people on Twitter and stuff, fans on Twitter and things like that. That's the move of someone who's kind of just burnt out and tired of dealing with stuff.
Sure.
So when you go down that rabbit hole with that, what I think is Ricochet had in his mind, he was going to reclaim the indie darling motif, if you will, and everybody was going to be so blown away because, you know, anybody out in the Legion listening, if you want to see some incredible stuff, I would recommend, like, look up the old PWG highlights and watch Ricochet and PWG. Go watch anything Lucha Underground where Ricochet was Prince Puma. Oh no, I've revealed who was under the mask.
No.
What?
No.
What?
But he really wasn't he was an indie darling. He truly was, and Ricochet's incredible. And I will say this, and the only reason Ricochet didn't win is because I did not have somebody to stay home with my child, and that's the only reason Takeshita didn't get taken out by me. Coming for you.
Again, the heat's real. I get it.
So real.
I just don't get why this match existed.
Yeah.
I don't need Ricochet versus Takeshita right now. I don't need Ricochet to lose another big match. I could have easily seen him being included in that Daniel Garcia Jack Perry match if you needed him to have a title and have Daniel Garcia beat Jack Perry and not actually win. He just, we have Ricochet losing too many good matches. He needs some solid wins to get over here with this crowd, because it's not like he's coming from, it's not like a Bobby Lashley situation where Bobby Lashley came back from a lot of success in WWE to here. Ricochet was muddling around mid-card act coming over here, and they're making him feel like a mid-card act, and it's surprising.
Has anyone else noticed that every time Ricochet wears the bell-bottom looking gear, like, his moves look slower? Like, realistically, every time he comes in wearing, like, those, like, jeans looking, like the pants, not the long tights, he, like, I don't know if they're what it is, but he looks like he's moving even slower than he does normally. And again, I'll give you age for a little bit on this, Hound, but, like,
he's less aerodynamic. Duh.
I mean, clearly, but, like, I mean, realistically, it does look like his moves aren't even as fluid because of it. And I don't know. It's little things that like that I do notice sometimes, where it's like, and also, like I said, the crowd just wasn't into this. Or they were, I think they were burnt out by this point. I'm hoping that Takeshita, after taking this win, moves on to either Powerhouse Hobbs or, even though it's a heel stable thing, I would love to see Takeshita versus Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like one of those two guys, like that's where I want this world to be at this point, because we would get a lot of great wrestling and a lot of hard hitting.
Yeah. The next match we had here was Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley, his real in-ring debut. I know he had a nice little squash match where he took on 2-on-1. This is a real match. I thought Strickland looked great in this match. I think he got really over in this, and I don't think his loss here really hurt him at all. I think it helped Bobby Lashley establish his dominance to a certain degree. And overall, this was a great match. I mean, I think Swerve always puts on great matches, and Bobby Lashley, I'm excited for him here. Hound, what was your takeaways from this match?
It kind of went exactly how I said it was going to. Lashley was going to win. Forgive me, it is. I've been going for about 22 hours at this point, so I'm kind of drawing some blanks on things. I'm forgetting the exact finish, but like I said, I think Lashley's going to look very impressive. Swerve's also going to have some moments where, because Lashley is an actual true super heavyweight, when Swerve does some things, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's only going to make him look good. And in the end, when Lashley does win, Swerve stock goes up with it. Mm-hmm. And I thought the match did what it was supposed to do. And again, forgive me for kind of brain farting right now on a few things, but I have been awake for a little while. But yeah, it was no complaints about it. They did it right. And you can revisit this or even keep it going for a little bit. And it's now believable for Swerve to beat Lashley.
Yes. What were you thinking, Steve? How did this one jump out to you?
I mean, this was, as far as storyline goes and build up, this was probably the one I was looking forward to the most for true storyline stuff. And again, these are two guys that I really like their work. Swerve is great in the ring, but you had to have Lashley dominate. And they did. This was very much where Swerve was the underneath babyface for most of it. This was, I don't want to say this was a 70-30, but this was probably like a 65-35 match, or like a 60-40. Like, Lashley was clearly the aggressor the majority of this match. And I like it. I like Lashley going over. This is what should be happening. Lashley should be primed as an all-star, because he is an all-star. I could even see, I could see Swerve and Lashley doing like a best of 3 series or something like that. But I could also see Swerve and Lashley not touching for a little bit, and Lashley moving on to something bigger. And I'm not saying Swerve isn't huge. What I'm saying is there might be another spot above this where I could see Lashley moving up to.
Yeah, I could see that. I think Swerve was incredibly over in this match. He always is. I could see this continuing on. This beef isn't over. They jumped Prince Nana at the end. Swerve's going to have to make that up and kind of go from there.
Saying, oh, no, while they got Nana.
Nana.
Well done, sir.
Overall, it's great. Anybody else have anything on this match?
No.
Not for this one, now.
So let's take us to the main event, if you want to call it that. We had Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. You have for the world title. Honestly, I think the opposite of what I said about the Roderick Strong match. Nowhere in here was I really believing that Orange Cassidy would win this match. It was always going to be Mox winning. It was fine. It was brutal. It was absolutely vicious, and I was like, in a good way. I'll say that because I know we get overly judgy here. I particularly get overly judgy. If you're into this kind of ultra violence, they went at it in the right way. But overall, it was a good match. Kept it in, and I'll get to the ending after we cover this stuff. Steven, what were you thinking on this one?
Well, let's see. you can kind of even tell Jim Ross is only half paying attention to this stuff. Like when he jumps in, you can see like he's kind of just glazing over the monitor, and like something that he might actually like happens. He's like, "Oh, that was great! Oh my god, what a phenomenal move!" And then like he goes back to worrying about real issues in his real life. Barbecue sauce, his health issues, things like that. Hey guys, guess what? We get another pile driver in this match.
Another one.
No.
Another one that doesn't get used as a finish. But why would it, right?
The up close back rakes looked more vicious than any pile driver throughout the night.
I think they I feel like they were actually like clawing each other's backs during this, which I could see that being a Moxley call, being like, "Hey, it'll look cooler this way, man." Death Jitsu. It doesn't look that, and like I don't know. Again, this match wasn't really my cup of tea. It wasn't my shot of whiskey. It wasn't any of that. This was. I don't think Orange Cassidy was a believable threat going into this. We all said that. And then it took Yuta interfering. Hound, I asked you this on our episode. Why does Pac always wear his wrestling gear?
Always.
Because he stays ready.
He stays ready.
He doesn't have to get ready. He is.
Like everyone, like he comes out of the pickup truck with his wrestling gear on.
To be fair, dude, if I looked like him, I would too. Like, if I had that body, I would too. But
like that's the thing is, I could see him like walking out with like the wrist tape and like jeans with no shirt on, but he's just walking around with kick pads and brief tights.
You never know when you're gonna have to kick a fool.
I guess.
But
I still just don't understand. He's in his street clothes. He's wearing a neon shirt and backwards pink hat. That's it. That's his streat clothes. Still his wrestling gear.
Always ready.
It's the new hotness out there, man. That's what the kids are going to be in the streets here soon. But look, man, the match was what it was. The thing that I thought was good in this, and the thing is Orange Cassidy. Is this the second time he's done something real brutal with Moxley? I think it's the second time.
Yeah, and they said he did this like 2 years ago at Full Gear also.
And that's when Moxley took the title, that one title Orange Cassidy was holding for a while, off of him. I can't remember which one that was.
So he took it off, and then they did the whole that was when he got dropped on his head by Ray Phoenix. So they took the title off of Moxley and put it on Ray Phoenix. And then Cassidy won it back, and then Moxley came back out, and Cassidy had to beat him to like prove it was supposed to be that Moxley was going to hold it the whole time.
Yeah,
but then
either way,
that was an injury thing. I kind of understood that angle.
But the thing that the takeaway here is, and I think it's good for Orange Cassidy, is you can believe that he can go to a dark place when he needs to now. And I think that's a good parody for his character. Because like if he cares enough to get dark, he can be kind of looked at as, a viable threat. I mean, hell, he uses that Superman punch, or Orange Crush, whatever the hell he calls it. But it looks good. And you get that, like, I mean, hell, we have Finn Balor in some paint and suddenly he's this mystical demon. Why is Orange Cassidy not somebody who you've pushed that far where now, okay, no, he drops a fool. So that's my takeaway from it there, is it was good for Orange Cassidy. Other than that, it was meh.
Yeah, it was. I think we saw it coming. Steve hates Orange Cassidy as much as he hates Moxley. So that's
not true.
The next thing
who I hate as much as I hate Moxley.
Who's that?
Tony Schiavone.
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 I'm the only one here with Thunder Heat. And then the mayhem happens afterwards. You have Christian Cage cashing in. You have Hangman Page helping him. You have Christian Cage getting stopped from cashing it in. You have Darby Allin driving a truck through Moxley's car. I think that if you took the whole thing and you sped up to double time and then you had that like clown music behind it, would have been beautiful. Because I really think that they should have ended at this match and then they just added more and more and more. It's like da 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 da. There it is.
I mean, even during the match, why was Willow out there? I get it was to take out Marina Shafir, but like
for me,
we haven't seen Willow since Wrestle Dream. It's been 6 weeks. And I know they put her out there.
It was
because they were in New Jersey. They were hoping
fan service for me.
Yeah, they were hoping that Hound was gonna pay off and go after Takeshita, so they needed them to meet. But at the same time, like again, we could have had Willow in this match with Mercedes. We finally could have ran that back. And Chris Statlander, who is now apparently a face for no reason, and has a real history with Orange Cassidy as being one of his best friends, could have been the one that came out and fought Marina Shafir as who is also a powerhouse. And like, it makes sense then. Willow coming out didn't make sense to me. They were pouring cleaning products on Orange Cassidy at the end of this. I'm really hoping it was like Baja Blast in that bottle, but I don't trust them to not use real like wash and walk. Like you said, Hangman comes down, blasts Wheeler with a chair, Christian nails Moxley, Switchblade stops him, but like, why does Switchblade stop him? Like, this is like Christian is so much of an easier and better target than the Moxley group would be. And then after, everyone jumps Switchblade before anything can or right after he does that, and he's calling out Pac again. Pac in his wrestling gear still. No one else is in their wrestling gear. Not even Moxley. Moxley's not in wrestling gear. He's wearing chinos.
Yeah, why not? How do you have anything you want to add to this match?
I mean, we call it went the way it was.
The
schmaz.
Sorry, this aftermath. Sorry.
Okay, so if you want, you're trying to say that certain people can be around the world title with this.
Yeah, you said about 4 of them.
But again, you just showed that Adam Page is not on the level of Jay White, so Adam Page should not be out there.
Well, to be fair, Adam Page wasn't really out there to show that he was next in line. He was out there to help Christian Cage cash in and do his thing.
But even still, it's the fact it's 2 title adjacent. And if you were going to do that, so be it. But then Jay White doesn't need to come out. The Jay White stopping it is the dumbest thing. If anyone should have stopped it, it should have been a member of the New World Death Riding Moxleys.
Yep. Who most of them were still kind of healthy by this point. Like it was minutes after they had any of them had taken any type of shots or hits or anything like that. Again, they were just jamoking on the outside.
I swear, if this all becomes some kind of weird, long-ass storyline to have Bryan Danielson come back and reclaim the title, I'm going to be annoyed.
He's definitely coming back.
I could almost see that. I mean, literally my point by the end of the show was, because even when they were showing the stuff on the screen, you can see the fans aren't doing anything to it. Like they're sitting on their hands. And like the fans stop reacting, and I have it written here. 1, because it makes no sense. And 2, because they're burnt out after 6 hours of pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Most of those fans had been there for the entirety of the time because you didn't know if AJ was going to open the countdown or close the countdown. There was, I think, 2 or 3 other matches on the countdown. So they did 13 matches total. That's a lot of wrestling, man. And like, I know Showtime, you make the joke that they're trying to get the longest pay-per-view in history. They're starting to get there. They're getting close.
They sure are. And, I'm a little burnt out from just this giant review that we just did. So we're going to leave it at that. Everybody, tell us how we're right. Tell us how we're wrong. Tell us where we're overreacting. Tell us where we're underreacting. Feel free to put any of those comments below. Like, subscribe. Please help us continue to grow the show. We have such a good time doing this for you all, giving you our perspective, our inside knowledge, our just kind of overall fandom. I feel like when wrestlers get a little above and beyond, they think they're above the fans. It's a joke because they all started out gushing over these cards, over analyzing them, doing the things that we are doing. We are just not afraid to hide it. So thank you for joining us for another review. This one for AEW's Full Gear. As a really quick recap, Steve and I both had 8 right. We had Private Party, MJF, Monet. We all had Hangman Page wrong. Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, Takeshita, Bobby Lashley, and Moxley in this. Hound, the only difference, he had Roddy and he had Jack Perry winning because he was bold enough to do it. Thank you all for being here with us. And
It was noble.
And thanks for continuing to support the show. And Steven?
As always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.